Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be redesigning the main 6 as Monster High characters. First, Applejack is based off of Claudine, since they're both hardworking, dependable, and very grounded characters, so turning her into a werewolf felt like a natural fit. I wanted her to feel strong and dependable in the show, but still have the fashion sense of a Monster High character. To show that, I added more rugged textures and sharper features, giving her a design that feels durable and practical, rather than overly dramatic, like I do with some of the designs in the future. I also kept her hat because it's such an important part of her identity in the show, and it helps keep her recognizable, even in this form. Overall, I really like this design, even if it's not one of my strongest art pieces, because I feel like it really captures what I was looking for in Applejack. I feel like this really sets the tone for future designs. Next is Rainbow Dash, who I based sort of around Laguna, since they're both athletic, competitive, and always pushing themselves to be the best. Instead of keeping her in the sky, I put her in the water. So I reimagined her as a sea monster to focus more on movement and speed through the water instead of the air. I felt like this was a good fit because Rainbow Dash is really fast through the sky, and she wouldn't really lose that speed if she went into the water. For her design, I used flowing shapes and fin-like details to make it feel like she's more consistently in motion, like cutting through the water. I kept pretty much all the same colors from Rainbow Dash's original design, even her Equestria Girl design. So her colors are going to stay bright and bold, but they blend in a way that feels more fluid to being underwater and more in tune with the Monster High aesthetic. And always, she still carries around the same confidence and energy, just adapted into a new environment. This one was extremely fun to experiment with, even with a new body pose. I know it kind of looks like she's on her tippy toes, but it's more like she's in the water in this position. Next up is Twilight Sparkle. I went with more of a vampire, loosely based off of Draculaura, but I really wanted to ground the design in Twilight's personality rather than just the typical vampire look. What drew me to this concept is how well the idea of a vampire lines up with her love of knowledge. This idea is someone who has years or even centuries to study and refine their magic, especially with Twilight, who's always reading. So I approached her design with that in mind, focused on making her feel more composed, controlled, and very intentional. I gave her a more structured silhouette with cleaner lines, sharper features, to reflect how organized and precise she is. Nothing in this design feels random. Everything is placed in the way that feels deliberate, which mirrors how Twilight thinks and plans out things. For the color palette, I kept her core colors recognizable, like her deep purple hair with that pink stripe down it. But I deepened them to fit more of the vampire aesthetic. Like the purples are richer and more muted, and I added darker tones to create contrast and depth. This helps me give her a more mature and slightly more intense presence without losing what makes her identifiable. Also, for her outfit, I wanted to keep the star aesthetic, so I added some dark blue stars on her corset and shorts. I really like the light blue in her gala outfit, so I'm giving her outfit another layer, and I was able to incorporate the light blue color without making it seem forced. I also used the darker tones to frame certain areas of the design, so your eyes are naturally drawn towards her face and expression. Her expression itself is a lot calmer and more focused, which adds the feeling of quiet control, like she would with any of her magic. She doesn't come across as chaotic or dramatic like, say, Rarity. Instead, she feels like someone who fully understands her power and doesn't need to show it off. Overall, I feel like she's a less traditional monster and more refined, intelligent figure. Someone who has mastered both magic and herself. Next up, we have Pinkie Pie, who is inspired by Frankie. This was one of the easiest concepts to connect because their personalities pretty much overlap one-to-one. They both have really energetic and slightly chaotic energies, so combining them with the Frankenstein style design felt really fun. I didn't want her to feel heavy or stitched together in like a broken way. Instead, I wanted the design to feel expressive and full of life. So I leaned into exaggerating bigger shapes, more movement, and slightly mismatched elements to reflect how unpredictable she is. The stitching became less about damage and more about personality, almost like each piece adds up to who she is instead of taking them away. I also made the stitching a neon yellow because it felt like it would match her personality, like, perfectly. I also made sure to keep her colors bright and more neon colors to match her life of the party energy, because that is such a big part of her identity. Even though Frankenstein designs are usually darker, like how Frankie's like green and black and white, I didn't want her to lose the energy of her pony design, so I kept them a lot lighter. She feels like a character that doesn't really follow any rules, but still somehow it works perfectly. And I think the balance between the chaos and cohesion is what really makes her design stand out. For Fluttershy, I based her off of Twilight and turned her into a softer version of the Boogeyman, which was more about tone than appearance. Normally, the Boogeyman is meant to be something scary or threatening, but that didn't really feel right for her character. I wanted her to be a lot more like Twilight in that sense, so instead I approached it from more of an emotional angle. Like, what would a shy, gentle presence look like in a darker setting? I focused on softer shapes, less defined angles to make her feel like she more blended into her surroundings, like how Twilight uses her abilities to fade into the shadows. Her color palette is more muted and subtle, which helps reinforce the idea that she's not trying to stand out. I also kept her expression calm and slightly reserved instead of fearful, because she's not meant to be afraid, just quiet. She feels more like a presence than a character that demands attention. Plus, I like the idea that she exists in the background, only really noticeable if you're paying attention. I feel like it gives her a more mysterious feeling while still staying true to her kind and gentle personality. Also, I will admit I have redrawn her. This is the second attempt. I feel like my first attempt didn't go well and all the colors just kind of blended together. And when drawing the line art and making like colored line art instead of just straight black line art, it just like every single piece of her design just blended together and it didn't look as good. So in my second attempt, I thickened the line art and made the colors a little bolder and changed like the color palette because I feel like it matches her new color palette. Like her Equestria Girl design and her gala outfit had like this kind of green to it. And I think it looks a lot better than her first design. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. For Rarity, I based her off of Cleo because they both have a strong sense of style, confidence, and attention to detail. I knew I didn't want to go with the traditional mummy design because that usually focuses on decay or age, and that doesn't really fit her character. So instead, I shifted the focus more towards elegance and presentation. I treated the bandages more like fabric, something that could be styled, layered, and shaped into a full outfit. That let me lean into movement and flow, which helps the design feel more dynamic. I also added gold accents throughout to reinforce the sense of luxury and high status. Rarity is someone who takes pride in how she presents herself, so I wanted it to feel like the look was intentional. Kind of like she didn't just become a mummy, she adapted it into something fashionable. Just like how in season 7, where she accidentally used Zikora's hair remover potion, she ended up adapting her crisis into setting a new trend with the kind of the punky hairstyle. Which was super cool, and she ended up doing a really good job at the photo shoot. I also paid attention to keeping her posture and expression confident, because that's such a big part of her personality. She feels polished, composed, and completely in control of how she's perceived. And overall, she comes across as less of a monster and more of a timeless styled figure. I feel like I put way more effort into her to make sure her outfit matched who she was in the show, but I believe that this one is the best out of all of the ones that I have done. That was all 6, each one designed by matching the main 6 with Monster High. If you like these character redesigns, make sure to like and follow for more. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers so I can keep doing stuff like this. Let me know down in the comments which design was your favorite, and like the video if you like seeing these longer form videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.